Hi there, and welcome to InsideTracks.co.uk. We're here to help you trade smarter, and today we're going to tackle charts. If you know your charts, then you can make money from them, and that is by understanding them, knowing what parts of charts mean what, and looking at different shapes. So that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at how to read a chart and what different shapes mean, and therefore how you can predict what your horse is going to do in the race. So, things to remember about charts. I've said this a lot before about over and underweighted in the market. If you don't know about it, the way to work out whether a horse is over or underweighted is to take this number here, which is its this number here, its current price, latest price matched, just about 2. Then you multiply on this selection, 720. If it's larger than the total amount on the market, then it is overweighted. If it is less than the total amount on the market, then it is underweighted. The good thing about overweighted horses, which this obviously is, 720 versus 560, this is the overweighted horse, is that the chart tends to move relatively slowly, and therefore you are unlikely to get caught out too badly. And when something starts moving, you know a direction it's going to go in for a while. So this moved down very slowly and back up very slowly and slightly down very slowly. Other markets which are other horses which are underweighted will do that much more, and you can find yourself in quite a lot of trouble, and your position might be that you start losing money quite quickly. So that's the first thing to remember. It's a very straightforward thing. Remember it. Use it all the time in your trading, because it will give you a good clue as to how the chart is going to move. Is it going to move drastically, or is it going to move slowly? Early money and late money are completely different. Okay, so remember that the money coming in here is virtually nothing, and the money coming in here is a lot. And actually, this is quite unusual to see more money in the middle. But obviously, there is some view on what happened at this point. It was too short. So the early money, which is little, tends to be the stable connections, people in the kind of know. So someone up here has said that 2.2 is too much. So they put a little bit of money on, then someone else has gone, okay, I'll take it, and it's leveled out there. So obviously it was too high at 2.2 and probably still too high at 2. So you've it's connections telling you that the price of 2, or certainly 2.2, is too much. So that tells you something, but it's not great because it's not a huge amount of money, but it is money that tends to be a little bit closer to the horse and closer to the stable. So here you can start saying, okay, if it moves out to 2.2, you may well see some support for it. But generally speaking, the connections think that its price should be around about 2. Certainly, they think that it's too low here, and we're seeing that. So at 1.9, it's being supported down. We're supported down to 1.72, we can see. And then actually quite a lot of money has come in and said, well, no, that's too short. So there's not massive confidence in this horse, but a decent amount of confidence. And it moves back out to about where we see the connections saying, okay, and that's when this kind of point, the later money, is now more professional money, more decent bets, and so we're saying it's definitely not going to be going off at 1.72, and it's not going to go off over 2. That's pretty much for sure. So and the half of the chart of this chart is the last 5 to 10 minutes. So if this was just before the off, then that would be the 10-minute sector, and that would be the previous 12 hours. So reading these charts, you have to be really clear that half is not equivalent in time to that half. That half is a hell of a lot more. And 80% of the money. So if you take sort of a point around about here, and you said, right, what's that money there versus what's that money there? you'd see that that is 80% of the total going onto the market. So I would expect out of this 550,000, 400,000 is coming on here, and only 150,000 going on there. So that's what you should remember and think about when you're looking at charts. Is that those things exist? Now, how do you get to charts? Well, if you haven't done it before, go into Betfair, go into the race, and click on the chart symbol here. And what that will deliver to you is a chart like this, which shows you what's been happening in the marketplace. This is another horse, actually, than the previous one. So this is what's been happening in the market for Batal Dubai. And we'll see that this is at 127 for a 140 race. So we've come in 13 minutes before the race. We see the early money. You can see that the connections think that the first show of 1.9 or so, 1.84 was too low. Clearly there's some support around about 2.5 or so, and then some early money coming in here, which says, yeah, we think about 2.2, and then it sort of dodges around. Is it overweighted or underweighted at this point? Last price match 2.24 times 36 by 2, 72 plus a bit. So you are talking about an overweighted horse. So again, in the early part, it probably was moving a bit faster, but here we should expect it not to move so quickly, which it isn't. So there clearly isn't a great deal or significant offense to this kind of price around this corridor. So again, that tells you a lot about your scalping, that this isn't going to move drastically over 2.4-ish, and it's not going to move drastically below 2.18 or whatever, something like that, 2.15. So again, here's you reading a chart, and here's me telling you that you can scalp with fair degree of certainty between, I would say, around about 2.3 and 2.15, which is good information for you. Also, you'll see it's unlikely, quite unlikely, to go right down anymore, down to sort of this lowest level. It's not had a great deal of support down there. In fact, it's had some more support up around about the 2.3. So again, if there was going to be any movement, the previous money would tell you it's going to be slightly outward, and we'll see what happens. So here we go. Here's the chart, and we've seen 128 now. Another 10 minutes. This thing here is actually, if you can see that little jink there, that's that jink there. So actually, in a 10-minute spell, that point has arrived here, so halfway. So you can see how the chart changes, and then again, another 2 minutes. This movement here, you can see is that. So again, that is just 2 minutes worth of chart. So what we are seeing is pretty much what was said. If it's going to go out, if it's going to move, the money was out, so it did go out. But then someone said, yeah, no, we think it's all right. It was some good support here, and in fact, it's just coming in slightly more on the off, and it goes off at the off price was 2.24. So again, that was okay. I think there was some nervousness maybe in this bit here from some of the professionals coming in, because the horse is a hold-up horse, and it was held up, but it was held up at last, in fact. And so in play, they got quite a lot of nervousness, but this was a good horse, as has been demonstrated by the chart. It's a good horse, and it came late, ran on, and actually won by 2.5 lengths. So you can just think that a horse that's considered at 2 or so, just over 2, in play trades nearly at 7. You can say, wow, that was good. And in fact, if you were an in-play player, you'd say, crikey, that's too much. In fact, far too much round about here, because this would have been only about 2 furlongs in, and you can say moving out like that was not right. But this is obviously a good horse, and it came in the final furlong. So there you go. There's reading a chart from pretty much the start to the finish. And what you can say is that there's elements in there for the scalpers of you, which can give you good information on scalping. There's elements in here for those who want to know, like, is this chart going to move quickly or not? It's overweighted, so it's not. And there's elements in here that tells you this is a good horse, because even when the professionals come in and try and push it out, quite a lot of money comes in here to try and push it out over 2.4, it wouldn't go. So there was a good element of confidence in this horse that it was going to run a good race. And in play, you're in play players here. Well, you're going into this saying this is a good horse. So if it does drift out, I might well take a little bit of that because it's a good horse. Why wouldn't you? And particularly if it's a hold-up horse and it's expected to come late, well, take a punt if you want to at 6. That'd be a very, very nice punt, wouldn't it? Okay, so that's reading a chart, and the other thing to say about charts is obviously keep your eye on the competition, because charts for any one horse are affected by what's happening to the competition. So, for instance, with these 3 horses, completely different horses again, you can see that there's some pushing out of the price of this one, some pushing out the price of this one, and this one's coming in. Generally speaking, that means that the support for orbital chime is having an effect on these other 2. Okay, so and that can be completely the opposite. You can find one horse which is drifting a lot, and every other horse is coming in slightly. This one's being supported, so everything else is going out slightly. So remember that, and that's where again software comes in. You can set up your screen so you can view the top 5 in the betting and see how the price of your horse is being affected by the price of the others. Okay, and that's quite good to know, because you want to know, is your horse being supported, or is just someone else not being supported? And again, when your horse is drifting, is that because someone else is being supported? And what does that mean? And does it make a difference to how you're going to position yourself? And are you going to get out of your trade, or are you going to say, oh no, I don't really think that's going to be consistent, I don't believe it, and you can stay in your trade and then it will come back in or whatever. So so to be aware of the competition and what's happening to them. So on to different shapes of chart and types of chart, and how to read them so that you can actually understand what the sentiment in the market is based on the shape of the chart. So this is the U-shaped chart. This is a chart which says we like this one to a point. Okay, so here's the early money. It comes in. Clearly, it's too high at 2.2. So here we go. There's some support up to below 2. Then the market comes in and says, yeah, that's too low, and then it goes out, and then it comes back in slightly at the end. And actually, what we find with this chart is it's an overweighted horse. We can see that. Backers are looking to take profit, so someone who's backed it in here and backed it here is taking some profit out, and the market, including fresh money, felt the price is right around about 1.95. And this is not a bad chart. It's a perfectly normal chart. You'll see if this was a chart which went U and then out, you would be worried. Well, this is a U that comes out, people taking profit and then coming back in and saying, actually, that's an okay price. It's been there all along. So we're going to take a bit of profit out here, and then it comes back in. So the guys who laid in here are taking some profit out here. So this chart says we like this one to a point, and this one probably has a decent chance of winning as much as anything else. It's not going to beat the daylights out of everything, but if you fancy it, you wouldn't be worried about this chart. The hump chart, it looks better than it is. So early money says 3 is definitely too short, even 3.5 is too short. So that's some money in the know. Then someone comes in here, maybe a tipster comes in, and so the money comes down, and then the professional money comes in and it stays down. So the professional money definitely thinks is okay, and definitely thinks that often sale pushes the price out. So the early money says there's something not quite right. Normal trading money sees value at 4 because clearly the form's there. Last 5 minutes sees a slight drift or leveling. So it goes down to there and then it comes back out slightly. So what we're saying is that this horse looks better, i.e. it's got good form, but there's something not quite right about it. And I would be slightly worried about this chart, saying that seeing this movement early on, that movement there, but it's probably that movement there that I'm probably the most worried about, saying, well, the professional one thinks it's a good horse, but they're not quite sure. So it looks better than it is. I'm just saying, remember again, the second half, I would trust this part of the half. So that bit there does mean something. If that bit came down there, I'd be completely the other way around. I'd be thinking, oh, yep, they've come back down, and actually the professional money is supporting it, even though the early money didn't like it. Okay, now the L-shaped chart. Now we're getting something that really is good. And if you start seeing charts like this, then you will be okay. If you can find these charts, then you've got a good chance of knowing where you're going to wind up. So again, we see that the 3 times 124, 360 is very overweighted. There's no strong support for other horses. There's a natural support level of around about 3 that's been reached, but even so, the professional money right at the end is coming in saying it's even worth better than 3. Got some strong attempts here. This attempt here, it is to push it out from around about 3, but it comes back in again, trying to. Well, this is a lot of money coming on, and actually it comes in. So there's some strong attempts to move the market, which have been met, and the market's come back in. This one did manage to move it, but this one didn't. This one didn't. This one didn't. This one didn't. It moved it in fact, if anything. So here we have a very nice. We all like this one. Is what we're saying. The early money liked it. Is overweighted, and it's got very strong support. So here you're very confident about scalping and the way the market's sort of direction the market's going in. So that's fantastic for your scalping. This horse will win and did win. Now, here's one for you. And if you see these charts, then it's really very, very good and very nice. We all like this one. Is what's being said here. Support level found at 2.25. So the early money connections, etc., have said yes. Then some more money comes in, and it still says yes. Perhaps a bit of a bandwagon going on here. The market comes back down to here, and you think, oh, that's got down to 2.2. And some decent money starts coming in, saying, well, that's too low. We were expecting it to be out here. So we want it. We think that's too low, and it's come back out to sort of 2.2, 2.23, 2.3 or so. That's stabilized out, and then here, whoa, we start coming in with some decent money here, and it's all positive. And yes, it goes down to 1.75. That's probably too low. And comes out here. And if you see this chart just before the off, then you are onto something, because this horse is going to win. So support levels found at 2.25, but breakout down to 1.95, 1.9, massively overweighted. No strong support for other horses. Strong attempts to move the markets. Only succeeded in a double for the double dip, so it didn't succeed in pushing it now. So double L shape, L gives you and overweighted gives you a very, very strong contender, and yeah, whatever you want to do, scalping or your in play or your you want to back this horse and trade out. But this will definitely, for a start, you can be absolutely sure this horse is going to do that, even if it doesn't win. So if this was a horse I didn't even know, that did win, I would say this is going to go like that in play, and you'd need something special coming towards the end, and then obviously it would not win. But so you can do your short price favorite strategy, which if any of you want to do, there's a video about it called "Making Money Out of Short Price Favorites." But in a chart like this, you would definitely say, well, I'm going to put a hefty back bet on round about here just for the start. And if I don't leave it on, I'll take out a couple of points, a couple of ticks down to sort of if it leaves at 1.86. I'd probably take it out at 1.5, have a hefty back bet and take it out at 1.5. I'd probably get that after a couple of furlongs. So there's money to be made, very simple money to be made there. So that's it. That's your lot today. I'm going to do some more on charts that will give you a strong feeling about a horse that's not going to run well. But those were the charts that I think you should be looking out for horses that will definitely run well, if not win, in when you're doing your trading, and that can also inform all sorts of things like scalping and other activities that you might want to do in your trading. So if you like that, then please subscribe to this channel. We have free on insidetracks.co.uk more than 100 videos for you to look at. In our trading academy, you can join up to that, and we do some webinars and one-to-one training if you want it. And also we have a members club newsletter. I look at the racing every day, and I come up with good trading opportunities and things like back delays and other trading opportunities, so that you don't have to look for those opportunities. You can just pick them off my newsletter and use them to make a decent return. And you can see the results of the newsletters on the website as well, so you can see the what actually I've achieved over the last 20, 30 months. Okay, I will see you on the next one, and I would wish you all the very best of luck. See you on the next one.